Hey, it's Frank. Again, I managed to sort of plan what I wanted to say, and it's going to ramble on probably into some other things that I've already talked about with the breakup and maybe childhood and stuff like that. But I'm going to try to focus on um, what I feel my human need is, which is validation and appreciation. Um, I've written down some examples while I was bored at work, and so I'll go through them, and then I've got some other things that I haven't written down. Um, so as far as validation, let me see. Well, okay. So I thought I had it written down. I wrote down validation at the top, and then I made a list of other things that that caused me stress. But um, we'll just go along with it. Let's see. Since I was little, they have fundraisers. You have to go door to door selling chocolate or candles or whatever, um, or competitions in school, or like was it like a dollar, like one of those dollar per mile things. um I always felt like even if I didn't put in the work, and I know I didn't put in the work, I would always like secretly hope, like, yes, please, me. And it's not necessarily validation or appreciation really, but just going off this list here, I've always felt that desire to be special, it wasn't really a need because I could do it without it. But I just always wanted to be noticed, and and I wanted to be special. But even when those things came up, either I wasn't given the opportunity um, to fully engage in whatever activity it was, or um, I was held back some other way, like with the dollar per mile run thing. I've always been a chubby kid, and so I mean I did a lot of laps because I wanted to be the one that rang up the most, but I wasn't. I've always tried my hardest so that way I could be the top. I could be appreciated and noticed and special. Um, if it's something that I really care about, like making the keyblades, and like whenever I was making each one, I would do the best that I could with the experience. And after each one, I was like, oh my God, I should have changed this because I had gained the experience. And looking back, I really wanted to like go back and change it, but because I knew I could have done better. And if I had done better, maybe I would have been appreciated more. And I desire that appreciation and the validation from the people, but I want to be appreciated for the things that I like. So, as far as typing, that feels very, I mean, I guess that seems very TEFI, with TE being my savior, the thing that I do everything else for. Well, I mean, it could be flipped, but I mean, either ESTJ or INFP, I guess. But someone had typed me as ESTJ, and I've taken the test before, as I've said, and I come up as INFP. But I guess I can't really tell if I do everything for the tribe validation, or if I do, or if I strive for this tribe validation for my personal desires and my feelings. And um, but anyway, that was like one. Those are some examples, and some other things would involving the tribe would be um, like the before I even knew about Reddit, um, and before I really had any sort of social media page for my prop business. I did everything on DeviantArt under the name Final Form Sora or Final Form Sora, something like that. And someone shared the link with me that someone posted it on Reddit after seeing it on DeviantArt or Imgur, and not knowing how Reddit works, I went on there and I'm like, "You're taking all the credit. Why are you taking all the credit?" And I like went through literally almost every single comment, and I was like, "Hey, I don't know if you care, but um, but this guy is taking credit for my work, and he didn't put his source and whatever." And then everyone was like, "Dude, chill the fuck out." Like no one, he didn't say that he made them and whatever, but it really bugged me at the time. And looking back, I'm like, oh my god, you could have just gathered a little bit of information of how the site worked. You could have not freaked out. You could have just been like, I don't know. You could have, I don't know. I don't know what I could have done besides not that, because honestly, I mean, I wanted them to know that I did it. I wanted the validation. Like, I did that. I did that. Appreciate me, not him. I did it. I did the thing. And so I don't know if that's more TESI validation and doing the physical thing for tribe validation, or if that's, I don't know what observers I have, but I'm like 80% sure that I'm TEFI. Another situation that caused me to stress out more internally was I was like, I wasn't a teacher's pet in school, but I was liked by my teachers because I didn't like horse around too much, except in band class or except later on in the semester when I like started to get to know people in the class better, and especially the band director because in band because I was in there all the time. You know, you have the same people in the classes um, pretty much every year, and um, I was like joking around with the band director. I did something. I don't even remember what I did, but he like turned around, and I've never seen him mad. He was not. He was a very chill guy. Um, Probably ISFP or something like that, or I don't know. But he was very chill, and he only got loud or mad when he really needed to, like a teacher should. But but to have all that focused at me for once because I was being so probably any crazy or OE crazy, that like gave me with a hot flash, like as soon as he looked at me, because suddenly the tribe was against me, or at least my mentor was suddenly against me. And I don't know if that's, again, I don't know if that's TE or FI, because the band is my tribe, but he was a specific person that I looked up to. Um, see, another thing was while I was in band, I was practicing. I wasn't really practicing. I knew this piece on the mallets, and I would play it. And I think I said before in another video, I probably said this whole thing before in a video, that I was able to like look up and see what I was doing because I knew where all the pieces were. And one girl that I had a crush on was like, "Why do you do that?" And I'm like, "What? You show off." It's really I don't remember what word she used there, but it wasn't like annoying. It was I was being like I was being a Chad or something like that, um, and I really wasn't trying to be. And that also made me feel like, oh my god, person doesn't like me. Eee. Um, let's see. Another time, I had made the guitar gun that's on my in the props, and I posted it to Imgur, and I was really proud of it because it could like actually play like a guitar, and it was life size, and you could tune it and everything. And some random guy decided to nitpick on it, and it made me a little mad. Like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like, why is he criticizing my work? But um, but it just made me feel like, yeah, maybe I should have fixed that, or I did the best I could, or um, why can't you just like it? I don't know. Um, and I guess when I'm online, I'm a lot more confident about stating the facts because I can process it. Um, I can, I can process what they're telling me, and I can think about what I want to say back. But in the moment, it's like I can't process this right now. So that's like play last. I can't process this right now. I don't know what to do. And usually that ends with me blasting the first thing that comes to my mind, which is terrible. I think I'm blast, sleep, consume, play. Um, but on the but online or in texting, that's why I love texting, is because I can process and think about my words carefully. Um, because if I say the wrong thing, I'm gonna get backlash, and I can control myself when I can process it, which I guess would be SI. I can control myself. Who knows, whatever. Um, let's see. Well, that was everything from the list. But um, in my relationship with my ex, I was always doing things around the house, not just because I wanted it to be clean. I mean, that was a big thing. Like, I want our house to look nice in case we have people over, and also because if it's good for the kids to learn to keep a house clean, so that when they get older, they're not a slob that their partner has to take care of. Um, and my ex just would always just let them um, play with all their toys, like have that NE freedom or SE freedom. I think she was an ESTP. And she would clean it up for them, or she would just leave it out, and I would have to clean it up. Or when I got home from work, there was so much chaos, so much physical chaos that I didn't like, that I had to clean it up right away, like, or at least most of it, like get it started, like, boys, pick this up, pick this up, pick this up. So NE or NISE, yeah. So I don't think that's like leaning away from ESTJ. That was a stressful thing, like too much chaos, too much sensory chaos, and then I tell other people how to organize it, you know. But it was also a teaching thing for the boys because they needed someone in their, like, they needed a figure in their life that could be strict with them because my ex wasn't doing it, not like she should have. When she was strict, it was if they did something wrong, she would go beat their butt, and um, I can't remember, but I mean, I'm sure she got her butt spanked too, and I got mine spanked, even though I don't remember what it was for. But I mean, I can remember what I saw while it was happening, though. Like, bent over the bed, get the belt, and I can almost like see and feel all that still every time I think about it. Um, but she just took it like too far, and I would try to talk with them even after that happened. I would try to go and talk to the younger child and get him to calm down, and I don't think she's changed how she handles him at all, and that's gonna really affect their mental health as they're growing up. I mean, the younger one, after my son died, he was already saying that he wanted to kill himself with a knife, and he was already causing problems in school, being very chaotic, which wasn't the problem. The problem was that he didn't want to listen, and he would like growl and hiss, and He had a problem until it stopped after I started dating her, that he would show claws at people when he was angry. He'd go, like some sort of tiger or something. Um, and I honestly think that he and I might be the same type, or very similar functions, because I saw a lot of my younger self in him. I also got very angry when I was being scolded, not just because I was angry, but because I didn't know how else to process it at the time. Like, if I was in trouble and being yelled at, like I remember specifically one time I had a comb in my pocket because my dad gave me a comb and he would make sure I do my hair nice and everything. And I just like, I was like 12 and I just like bent it in half with one hand in my pocket because I was so mad. And I really regret thinking about all that about him because I miss him a lot. I don't know if I mentioned it in another video, but he passed away um, almost exactly 7 years ago, and that's probably one of. I mean, I had depression at the time, but I didn't know it, and it wasn't until after something like that happened that I started to recognize it in myself. But anyway, oh my gosh, I went way off. So, yeah, so it wasn't always about the house being clean. It was, it was like partly that I wanted to prove myself as useful because I didn't feel like I was worth enough, because me and my ex hardly saw each other when we moved into our own house because I worked daytime, she worked nighttime, and and hardly being able to see her, and already not being very outwardly emotional with other people, even her really, because she didn't really want to talk about that sort of stuff. She wasn't That wasn't her love language, I guess, which I should have seen coming would have caused problems. But I wanted her to see that I was doing all these things for her and for the kids and appreciate me. And that's what I mean, I had to tell her a couple times, like, I don't mind doing literally everything in the house. I just want to thank you, like, every day. Like, come up to me, wrap your arms around me from behind, and give me like a kiss on the cheek or something. That would have been nice. But she didn't do that. And but I moved past it because I was doing what I had to do. I mean, I wanted to stay with her at the time, and I had to keep moving on for the kids and to keep us together, especially after we had my son. I had to feel that validation from her specifically, at least, so that way I could feel worthy. Um, so I don't exactly know if that's demon uh, internal decider, or introverted or extroverted decider. Um, I'm still hazy on the definition for that. I think that um, when the extroverted decider is the demon, you struggle with the people. You want the validation of the people, but you have a hard time getting it. So, and if it was a savior, then you would feel more comfortable with it. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm gonna cut the video off there at just under 20 minutes, and have a great day.